Is there anybody there?
What's up, Dad Hat Crew, and welcome to another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast. This week, we finish our conversation. So, Paul, Eric, Val, and I, we finished our conversation about the trip to the AAA Championship in Vegas, okay? This was, it was a little fun, but at the same time, a little sad because I was not able to be part of it, but I was super happy that my friends were able to partake and participate in what was end up being a lot of cool things for AAA Championship minor league baseball, guys. So without further ado, I'll give you the episode. See, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to see a bunch of games, like on TV and all that, and then just enjoy that. That was my goal, right? I'm like, all right, let's go to like where there's a bunch of football games, sports going on, and then let's, put a couple bets and then have fun the rest of the night.
See, that's what I tried doing, but the betting company that's at the hotel, and I won't name them, I felt like I didn't like their app. There wasn't a lot of prop bets. I like kind of the rushing and receiving and passing and stuff.
Okay.
But I didn't really care for it that much. We went, after we finally woke up Saturday morning, we went to, Paul and Amy went and got some Starbucks, and then I went upstairs to the food court and got Cinnabon, got a cinnamon roll, and we were sitting there talking, and then the K-State Oklahoma State game was on some TV, so we were kind of watching that a little bit, not too focused on it.
You shouldn't have, or at least Shana shouldn't have.
Yeah, no, she was not very happy about that, but we didn't watch a ton of football, but because then after that we went over to New York, and had a little bit of lunch, and then we
Nathan's Hot Dogs.
drove over to Aria.
Oh yeah, Aria.
And parked, and then took this little tram that was about to dump us sideways. It was like leaning a lot.
Yeah, it's going like 3 miles an hour, and it's just like whoa.
Yeah.
So we took that over to Caesars, or basically Bellagio, and then walked over to Caesars to check out the little fish tank that Paul wanted to show us, and then made our way back.
It was somewhere to walk. It's about the journey. We saw a lot of stuff on the way.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Well,
yes.
But I kept telling Paul, I was like, I don't know why Val wants to come over to the hotel. We can just it's just two of you. We can put you in the car, because we had a pretty big size SUV that we rented. So we had plenty of room. And Ed, if you would have made it, we had a third row, so you could have laid and stretched out in the very back. And
Stretched out.
yeah. So let me ask you this: overall, like it was a good weekend, a good showing for minor league baseball. Like overall, the championship and everything.
So what surprised me is that when I went 2 years ago, they did the International League Championship game, the Pacific Coast League Championship, and then the AAA National Championship game. And the crowds were so-so. Reno was in it. They won the, what had that been? The Pacific Coast League.
Yep.
And then they were in the championship, but lost to Durham.
Yep.
So they had a decent following, because Reno was probably the closest out of anybody, obviously, besides Las Vegas. But they announced it was just under 9,000, so it was actually a pretty big crowd. So with being Omaha and Sugar Land from
like two teams
Nebraska
that are not
and
really,
Texas, like Paul said earlier, I was out there for the most part watching the game, because the Kansas City Royals AAA, so a lot of guys that have been up in the majors. So I'm like, ooh, Paul, first baseman Nick Prado, he's been with Kansas City. Pitcher, he's been with Kansas City, blah, blah, blah. Then we saw some guys waiting outside of the kind of back gate at the end after the game, waiting for autographs. I did get Nick Prado's autograph, but everybody else, they were like obviously done. They're like, yeah, we lost, we're done. So they basically
You're too good, little jerks.
Yeah. So overall, the environment was pretty good, pretty big crowd. They had some baseball influencer there that was giving away a couple PlayStations, and I tried getting one, and they did trivia to give those away. I knew both answers, but they had a bunch of little kids, and they were just calling on them. So I'm like, me, and they wouldn't call on me.
I'm a big kid.
So I could have had a PlayStation 5, and I really want one because I want to play the new college football, NCAA college football. But
I'm more of a shooter. when it comes to video games.
It's all right though, because Eric then like muscled some of those kids out of the way to get Nick Prado's autograph after the game.
Good job. Good on you, buddy. Good
I was
on
actually
you.
probably younger than younger than most of the guys there that were
Because
getting
most of those guys were
autographs.
going to sell it at the card shows.
Probably, yeah. No, I thought overall it was very good. Val, like Paul said, was a really great host. Took great care of us, and got to meet Chef G, and then got to meet Adriana. So a lot of fun for sure.
And I'll have y'all know, me and another lady did the wave at the hockey game, and it was awesome.
Good job.
I was doing the wave in our section upstairs, but nobody else is doing it. So
yeah, because these two knuckleheads don't like doing the wave.
Yeah.
But first of all, okay, none of you were invested in it because by the time that you guys, I'm sure, were doing the wave, your team Omaha was getting their asses handed to them. So might as well you would have had fun with the wave.
No, definitely not going to do that. I don't care if we're down 95 or up 130. We're not doing the wave. I kind of figured it'd be going that way because Sugarland won the series against Reno in 2, and then they had pretty good pitching and really good hitting. But then Omaha had to go to game 3 to be able to advance. And so they used up all their pitching, and I didn't figure they'd have much pitching left, which you could tell. So, yeah, I thought overall Sugarland probably was going to win just by their offense and Omaha not having the pitching staff to get it done. They did take a lead.
A lock.
Do what?
I was saying, which is why the over was a lock.
Yeah, it was. Sugarland jumped out to an early lead. Omaha came back and took it after that, but then Sugarland came right back. And it was just
it was over after that.
They had a lead for like a minute. It was 4-3 Omaha for like a minute, and then
Sugarland scored in like every first 5 innings, like at least one run in all the first 5 innings.
So they had the lead for a third of an inning, and then they gave it up.
Yeah.
That third inning went on forever.
It was like 9 runs scored.
Yeah. It was
one thing to answer Val's question about the game and the atmosphere was, I think that because it was the AAA Championship game and they were, it was a serious baseball moment, right? Like it sort of mattered for these franchises. It wasn't very minor league baseball-y, right? Like there wasn't a lot of like goofy between inning activities. There were a couple. There was the one where they like put people in the big sphere, like the big inflatable sphere, and they try to knock each other over. I don't know how that doesn't get people injured and cause a lot of lawsuits that game. But it was not. It was a more sort of serious baseball atmosphere than even like a typical AAA game.
For like corporates and things like that. For
just from like the focus was on the baseball. I mean, for us, the focus was, let's be honest, on the food. But the focus on the field, I think, was for the baseball.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Would you go again?
100%. I would do it every year. Like Vegas is easy for me to get to.
But are they going to do it in Vegas next year?
I hope. I think
they've done it a few years in a row.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I wonder where they're going to have it next year, if they're going to change it.
Yeah, it's a great venue for it. It's you can reliably count on the weather to be good. That was my guess. I don't think you can have it in other areas of the country. That's up in the Northeast. You really couldn't do that. Ohio, you can't do that. Right. Maybe El Paso.
Yes.
The only one I can think of, like maybe Durham. That's pretty north. That's as far north.
Yeah, because they never have hurricanes in September in North Carolina.
No, they never do until they do, and then
the weather's always great in North Carolina in September.
Sweet Jesus.
I will say it was announced today that Big League Weekend is back.
I saw that.
So
Oakland's playing.
Yeah.
They announced it.
It's not Oakland. That's
according to Val's screenshot, it is.
The
they didn't change that.
They didn't.
Oh boy.
But it'll be that them against Arizona. So y'all should try to come out for that.
That's March 28th, right?
March 8th and the 9th.
May the 9th.
To also answer your question, yes, I've gone twice now. I think they need to do the International League and the Pacific Coast League Championship games there as well, because I think you guys were talking about on your podcast, the second part with the Aviators guy. He said that it's just one game, so like
it's really hard to
destination,
plan.
yeah. but where you had 3 games, I went to all 3 games Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I feel like they should do that again. And I thought about going last year and almost last second went to last year's game. But then ended up when I came to Vegas in December instead and went to the ballpark to see Enchant. But yeah, I would for sure go back again.
Now, the interesting thing about that is that this year, the Pacific Coast League and the International League, those championships were determined by a 3-game series or a best of 3-game series.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Wild
so-
card style.
Yeah, so they're probably not going to do that in Vegas. They're probably not going to play 2 separate 3-game series in Vegas and then the championship game.
What I didn't like is with those series, which I watched the Clippers one, is that they chose the first half winner as the host city, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, why don't you just choose whoever has the best record and then have them be the host city?
I don't fully understand the whole like first half, second half thing, because in the minors in particular, your roster is likely to be quite different. At the end of the second half of the season.
That's why they're doing the first and second half.
100%. Because like in the Texas League here, we have season tickets to the Wind Surge. Tulsa, they won I think 2 years ago the first half, and by the middle or beginning of the second half, their entire roster was up in Oklahoma City, and then so Wichita rolled them. They beat them like 29-1 in the 3-game series. They outscored them 29-1. And so, yeah, I understand.
I get it why they're doing it, right? Because again, you want to do first half and second half, but I'm with you. I think it should be the whole season that determines who's gonna go. Choose, the top 2, top 1 of the East Division and go with it. Now, let me ask you this: do you think that they should do kind of something like that for AA, single A? Like, for example, instead of doing it first half, second half, do the top 2 at the end of the season instead of the first half, second half.
And would you do like an ultimate AA champion?
Yeah.
The only thing with that is they have like 3 leagues. So they have the Texas League, the Southern League, and the Eastern League, whereas AAA is only the Eastern and the Pacific Coast League. And
then one league is a whole lot bigger than the other one in AAA.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. But
that's wild.
So they should break it up into 2, Pacific West and Pacific whatever.
They really should like break it up into like down the middle. Like, all right, you guys are in the Pacific, you guys are in the International.
Also, bring back the All-Star game in the minor league.
Yeah, I missed the All-Star game. The All-Star games are great. I went to a AAA All-Star game in Omaha, actually, back in like 2016, I think it was. And they had like all the mascots there. I mean, that was really fun. Like all the mascots were there. And that was very cool. That was the AAA All-Star game, kind of like Ranger Amy always describes the All-Star game as like a United Nations of like baseball fans, right? You see everyone wearing all the different gears. I liked at the championship game in Las Vegas, ton of fans wearing different gear from the different teams, right? Like you see all that, and it's like I even like just out and about at the grocery store, I'm checking out people's hats and T-shirts to see if they're wearing anything minor league baseball. There was a guy in the Vegas airport wearing it was just on the Vegas Strip. When we were walking around on the Vegas Strip, it was just Amy and me on Sunday. And there was a guy wearing an Everett Aqua Sox cap. And I'm like, hey, Aqua Sox, that's cool. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, people always look startled when they're wearing minor league stuff and you recognize it, right?
Paul, not a lot of people are like us who really do recognize and follow minor league baseball like the way we do.
Yeah, so, Paul and I were just walking around shouting at people. I'm like, hey, sweet Baby Cakes jersey. There was a guy wearing a Baby Cakes jersey at the...
Did you guys, chase them, stalk them?
I did, and I said, I like her Baby Cakes jersey. He's like, yeah, worst name ever. I'm like, no, it's not.
You go to hell.
Did you throw punch him? Because at that point, I would have throw punched him.
Yeah, and then now they're in Wichita, so thanks for sending them to Wichita.
Right.
Yeah, you little.
And there was another one too. I don't remember where we saw him at. Maybe New York or something. I was like, Paul, look, it's a whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Who was that? I did say something to a dude, but one of my favorite World Baseball Classic logos is the cap logo for the Mexico team.
Yeah.
And there was a guy wearing that, and I was just like, dude, I love that cap so much. And he was just like, why are you talking to me?
Which, by the way, if you ever have the chance to go to a Mexico game, at the WBC, please do. I want to say that's a top 3 game that I ever went to in my life.
I saw the Mexican team play, but it was in Puerto Rico.
Oh, I saw. No, I'm sorry. Specifically against USA, that
Oh,
game was nuts. It was at Chase
That's a
Field.
good game. I'll be honest. That's a good game. Mexico, USA. Nothing beats Dominican and Puerto Rico.
Mm.
That's a wild game.
Noted.
know.
Noted for 2026.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, but-
Caribbean series is back in Miami. That's a series you guys need to go to.
So the Caribbean series was what I saw in Puerto Rico in 2016 or 2014. I forget what it was exactly, but it was a while ago. The World Baseball Classic is high on my list right now in terms of remaining bucket list items. International baseball is just, I mean,
It's a totally different atmosphere.
Yeah, it's awesome. We went, so as you know, Ranger Amy and I went to 2 games in Japan. And then,
what?
Yeah,
You went
can you
to
believe
Japan?
it? And then poor Shannon and Samantha and Eric had to hear like so many stories about Japan. And I was like, Amy, we're talking about Japan too much. And she's like, you're right. The people in Japan thought that we talked too much about our stories about Japan. Like it was just, we couldn't stop ourselves.
I love those stories. I could listen to that podcast over and over.
Listen, all I'm saying is 2026 World Baseball Classic, Pool A, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
I want to go to the one in Houston.
Yeah.
United
What?
States, Mexico, Italy, and Great Britain.
Let's all
You
meet up
would.
for that. Let's
That's
all
like-
meet for that.
That's March, right? Like that would be
Yeah.
like March of 20. You say
March
2025 or
6th and
2026?
2026.
2026.
Paul's
It's
like,
during spring training, so like not all like the big players on teams are in spring training at that time.
Listen,
So, like, when-
mark it down.
When we went, like Shohei Ohtani, we knew wasn't going to be in spring training. He was.
That was one of the best World Baseball Classic championships
Yeah.
I've
Good.
ever seen in my
Yeah.
life.
And listen, if you guys don't know, I went to Japan that one time.
Did you?
Yeah, can you believe it?
What
They
in the world?
are so psyched to be 2-time champions of the world. Like that
That
means
is
a lot
so
to
cool.
the Japanese baseball.
This
fans.
is why everybody was talking, all these idiots were like, oh, this is why you should never have the World Baseball Classic. You
Nope.
talk to the players and you talk to people from other countries, and they're like, this is the best thing ever.
It's doing a lot to grow the game. It
Ask
really is.
Edwin Diaz, who, by the way, tore his ACL during a Puerto Rico game.
Yeah.
In the celebration, if he would do it
Celebration.
again,
Oh yeah.
and he said he would. He said he would.
he
Yeah.
said he didn't celebrate today on purpose because
Yeah,
he's
no,
like, I don't want to get that. So after they won, he's like, I'm not doing that. But
That's
imagine Paul, who travels so much that he's like, Caribbean series, I don't know, 2014, 2016, I don't know. I travel so much, I didn't know where
I
when
know,
it
right?
was.
I just have a
Show
bad
off.
memory, is all. It was 2014. I know that it was 2014. Now that I say that.
I wonder if Paul will ever make it to Japan or not.
Well, there was
I
the
don't
one
know.
time.
I mean, maybe.
Next time y'all go, I want to go so bad.
Well, the World Baseball Classic in Puerto Rico in 2026. That March of
We're
26.
planning Japan for 2026 WBC because I want to see them. Like, I don't know if they're gonna raise a banner or whatever, but I'm like, surely they're gonna go all out for that first game in Japan.
I'm just saying the Caribbean Baseball Series is set for 2025,
Hmm.
already set to go. All right, so it's going to be 31st of January to February 7th of 2025. I'm just putting it out there.
25 is gonna be so nuts because there's also that rivalry week that MLB highlighted.
But it's in Mexicali.
No, but there's like a whole like week of like rivalry games. It's just 2025 is gonna be so lit. I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing.
It's gonna be fire, I think.
But it's gonna be so fire.
We were all laughing because, well, okay, Ranger Amy and I are considerably older than everyone we were traveling with there.
Wait, what?
Eric and Shannon are slightly older than Val.
I would
but,
have been closer to your age.
We were laughing that like first of all, like if Val likes something, it's fire.
Mhm.
And then if Val doesn't like something, there's nothing that Val doesn't like. So we never figured out what that was. There was like, at no point was anything like the opposite of whatever fire might be.
It's
But
so
there-
funny. I had my tripod with my light and I was eating and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fire. And then I'd have another plate. Oh my gosh, this is so fire. And Ranger Amy pointed it out. I didn't realize I say this is so fire. Because I'm saying that to everything I'm eating. And mind you, I had one of everything. So yeah, it was awesome.
So definitely we should put it on the calendar that there's possibilities for many other international style series, tournament series, baseball games that we should attend besides the AAA Championship, which we do not know where is going to take place in 2025.
But if it's in Vegas,
yeah, if it's in Vegas, it's set. I mean, we're, you know,
can you
if there's not another hurricane.
Can you go out? Did they know, or is minor league baseball just not saying right now?
I don't know, but I'm like, I already assumed it was going to be in Vegas. Just like I assumed there would be a big league weekend game here in Vegas. Like, I'm going to just assume that there is. Like, it's Vegas.
Yeah. I would go back. I mean, in general, I like Vegas. So Ranger Amy and I, our flight wasn't until 9:00 at night, and then it got delayed. We didn't get home till 2:45 in the morning last night. So I'm on, as Kramer would say, no sleep. And but I would do it again. Eric and Shannon and Samantha had the opposite, where they were out at like 6:30 in the morning. So,
bro, we got done with the baseball game. It was a super long game. Then we hung out for a little bit, and then we drove over, looked at the Sphere. And I don't know, did we do that on purpose because I was trying to sleep, or did we just because the route that she drove?
The back seat was not consulted on whether we should do that, but it was like I think Shannon and Samantha were sort of like, we want to see the Sphere, and they're clearly not Vegas regulars because, first of all, it's right when the Eagles concert was letting out of the Sphere. So and it's like trying to drive on the Strip or near the Strip on a Saturday night. You're just going to be sitting there in traffic. That. So Eric and Amy are like sound asleep in the back seat. I'm sitting there next to them, and they're like, "Let's go drive by the Sphere." And I was just like, "No." And they did it, and they cost us 45 minutes, but it was like, everyone was fine. We were all just having a chill time. We were still vibing from a really fun night, but it was definitely funny. Like I'm sort of like trying to eye the Strip to see like how close are we to the Excalibur, because Amy and I are just going to walk. Like, drop us at this corner here.
Just stop right here. I'll walk.
Oh my gosh.
We'll rent one of those little electric scooters and we'll make it back to the hotel.
Yeah.
So
I want to go see the Sphere. Yeah. Had I known, I would have warned you guys that the Eagles were in town.
Well, so
what were you going to say, Eric?
Sorry, Eric. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so they announced this year the AAA National Championship game where it's being held in March. So I don't anticipate until like spring training time or so that we'll find out where it's going to be, because that's when they announced it this year, was back in March.
So we got to wait all the way until March to make our plans for AAA Championship, is what you're saying?
We'll probably be in Puerto Rico when that happens.
I know, right?
We're gonna go swimming in the bioluminescent bay in Fajardo.
Oh, hey, look at you!
This is gonna be a silly question, but I just literally don't know.
A Phillies question?
A silly question.
Oh, a silly question.
Oh, Feliz is happy, so there you go.
Do you need a passport to go to Puerto Rico?
You do not.
Okay, then we're going to Puerto Rico.
It is a U.S.
Go ahead, Eric. Say it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have a passport, so I could go. It's okay.
Yeah, I used my passport to go to Japan recently. Did you guys know that?
No, I did not know that. Tell me more. Yes, you do not need, because Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States, so therefore, no passport.
That's how come Ed is a U.S. citizen.
I was going to say, Ed, you're one of us?
I am.
One of us.
One of us. One of us. America.
But it is interesting that, I mean, like, Puerto Rico has its own team in the World Baseball Classic, right? Like, I mean,
well, for international, even the Olympics, we have. We're Puerto Rico. We're not represented by the United States.
Yeah. Just like those.
Although I root for both, so just full disclosure, because if I don't, I get, my wife will be mad at me. But
Gosh, I can't wait. Also, when the WBC was in Arizona, I went to a Colombia Canada game for $3. It was awesome.
Well, Colombia, Canada. So.
But I did catch a World Baseball Classic foul ball, so I have that displayed in our
room. That's awesome.
So it's not the
little, pretty cool.
Like whatever the shapes of the WBC logo.
Yeah, the WBC.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys know who designed that logo? Not you, Paul. I know you know who did it.
Probably Todd, if I had to guess.
It was Todd.
What's Todd? Todd
Radom.
Radom. Val and I were talking about Todd Radom at the because when I posted the picture with all of us with Tyler Mon, Todd Radom was very impressed by that. He was like, the classic Tyler Mon. Todd was singing Tyler's praises on Twitter.
None of us recognized Tyler when he first walked up until we started hearing him talk because
Until he
had
opened
a
his mouth.
huge mustache. And
I saw that he's like
when he
grinning from
posted-
side to side. Too.
when Paul posted that, maybe on Twitter, Sam Dykstra was like, or no, maybe Instagram. Sam Dykstra was like, "Tell that dude to shave."
Oh,
Sam was not having it. He's like, "Why
I
does
was
this guy?"
legit crying.
She did. She was honestly crying because he was there.
Val was emotional. So that for me,
and I have it on record. I wanted to interview these. I mean, I guess I have said I've also wanted.
Hey, listen, we put it out there for him. Hey, Tyler, you should come on the podcast. And then you say duh, and he's like, duh. I'm like,
he's like the most approachable guy. You should absolutely have him on the podcast.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sending him a message tonight to invite him on.
So now the quadfecta I'm missing now is Ben Hill. I've not actually met Ben Hill in person.
Okay.
I went to a Rockies game with Sam Dykstra and Josh Jackson, and then Tyler we just met, and then but I've not met Ben Hill yet.
So I got Val. We would have on the podcast we've had already Sam Dykstra, really cool dude. I got a lot of good information. Now Tyler Mon. Now we gonna need those two, Josh Jackson and Ben Hill.
I was like, it's the show before the show in person. I was freaking out.
It was so funny, like the moment, like because I didn't recognize him, as he walked up. Because the way it happened was actually kind of funny because it was the first time Val and I met in person, and so we're outside the ballpark and we're walking up, and here's Val wearing her Las Vegas, in the like Oakland green and yellow, her Las Vegas cap with the Oakland green and yellow, which was a sweet cap. That was actually a great cap. And so we're walking up, and I said to Val, I'm like, I can't believe we haven't met in person yet. And as I say that, Tyler is like over my right shoulder, and he's like, I can't believe we haven't met in person. And I turn around, and he's like, Tyler Mon. And I'm like, oh, my God, Tyler. So it was like this bizarre swirl of like, here's Val, who I've never met in person, and we're finally meeting. And then Tyler Mon shows up out of nowhere and like,
I can't believe we haven't met.
And so it was just such a while. And we all just hung out there for like,
I'm not jealous at all. Don't worry, because I'm not jealous at all.
It was a solid 10 minutes that we were just hanging out, just yapping.
That's pretty.
And then
cool,
it was funny because we're in the suite area and we're hanging out, and when it's quiet, you hear Tyler's voice. They're broadcasting it in the suite area, and Val's laughing. Val had a very funny thing she said to me. I'll let Val determine whether she should say it on the podcast. She's like, I don't want this to be creepy, but it's so funny. Like you go to the bathroom and there's Tyler Mon's voice. You're going to the bathroom.
And
I get that. It was like talking to you.
And then I think it was Eric, I think I told you, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we met him outside because I'm literally staring at him eating right now and I don't want to go freak him out. Like, I'm so glad I had already gotten that out of my system outside.
Yeah, you were like, I wouldn't want to go introduce myself to him, but he's right there and he's eating and he's with his new wife. He is newly married as of just about to celebrate his first anniversary.
Yeah,
I
saw that they're still here in Vegas. I mean, not me like checking his story or anything, but they're still here.
Not like you're stalking him or anything.
Too funny.
Any parting words, guys? Because we've been here over an hour now.
My favorite thing about all this is all of the future plans that it leads to. I love that I finally have gotten to connect with Val. I love that I got to meet Shannon in person and hang out with her in person. And EFA superstar Samantha from episode 128. So it's
not that you know the episode.
We just the network is growing, the community is growing, and all of these things that we do just leading to more plans. I love it.
Yeah, what was funny is that I kept referring to my wife's friend coming, and then wasn't saying the name, and then eventually I mentioned Samantha, and he goes, "Wait, Samantha from the podcast?" I was like, "Yes, that's her. She's coming." So yeah, for me, I just want to say thanks so much again to Val. So 2 years ago when I went, it was just me by myself, didn't have anybody there. 2 years later, we had a big party with a group of like 7 of us there. Got to meet some awesome people, Tyler, Chef G, Adriana. So overall, just a lot of fun. So thanks for setting it up, Val.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I'm so glad you guys were able to come out. And we're gonna have to do it again for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do something again in the fall or something, and then try to meet up. I'm sad, but at the same time, I'm very happy for you guys. You guys got to enjoy that because it looked like a lot of fun. It really did, from like all the Instagram pictures and the game was on, by the way, on Valley Sports as well as MLB Network. Just want you guys to know about that. And then I watched it for like a little bit, and then and Darla's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Oh, the AAA Championship." He goes like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah."
It's been a good year for Curve Brim Media, though, right? Like we had the
100%.
we had the meetup in North Carolina, and that was a ton of fun. And now Val knows to keep an eye out for that. We know
Where do we want to go, by the way? That's
there's so many options, right? Like
so many people are saying that we should go to Texas because that's a good place for some baseball. Vegas as well.
Val's
but
trying to
Vegas
get us
only
back
has
out to
one
Vegas.
team, though, Val, we're trying to do multiple teams and multiple games in one weekend here.
Yeah.
True. The East Coast is gonna be best for that. Which I've never gone to a minor league game on the East Coast, so we should stick to the East Coast.
There's also the Chicago area. There's a lot of teams up there.
That was one I sort of threw out the Chicago area.
Chicago, Wisconsin.
Yeah, Michigan. There's, the East Coast has just so much. I actually really like the ballparks in Florida, like the spring training facilities that they use for ballparks.
We can do like a Tampa area, like
a Clearwater St. Pete.
I'm sorry, a clear what?
Clearwater St. Pete area.
Oh.
It's
You mean Clearwater?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
so there's a ton that we could do, and we got Anna's trying to lure us to Texas. We got the Calibration gang trying to lead us, the minor league nerd trying to get us to Chicago, along with the baseball mapper guys who are up there as well.
Exactly.
So,
we got a lot of options for that. So
Yeah.
there's something we got to discuss into, for our meetup next year.
Places would be easy for me. Anna is in a city that's maybe like 15 minutes away from my hometown. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Texas will be fun. Chicago, Wisconsin area, or even some, up in Michigan, doing some. We were just talking about that on the show, Eric, to hit up some Northwoods League games. That would be a lot of fun.
All the baseball they have in Texas, I've only ever been to one baseball game in Texas. It was at the old Rangers ballpark. It's the only game I've ever been to in Texas.
Yeah.
At any level.
Out of all the minor league and major league teams in Texas, I've only been to all of them now.
That's crazy because I still need Corpus, Midland, and Amarillo.
Yeah, I did Midland and Amarillo 2 years ago, and then knocked out all of them, the rest of them this year.
Yeah,
gotta get to El Paso.
That's because Eric has like 9 baseball trips a year that are called something.
Right,
Palooza.
exactly.
He's like, oh, this is my June 15 Palooza that I do.
Let's not take away from the fact that he's trying to push it off on me. I was just in Japan and then in Vegas, and prior to that, I was on Danapalo Palooza and then Curve Brim weekend. And
we should do not a like a Curve Brim meetup thing, but go to Alaska, do a midnight sun game. That'd be a lot of fun.
Not that they didn't do that last year or anything.
No, that day we didn't do it. But that was Japan ball.
Yeah, we can do it. And then one of the things I have discovered that has been just a ton of fun is like if you use baseball as an excuse to go to a place, and you'll laugh. The Japan trip was 10 days.
What?
Two of those days were baseball. The rest of it was like this incredible experience. So, you use baseball as the framework for a trip to like Alaska, or a place that you really want to see. It's a great way to see the world.
The Pacific Northwest.
Definitely.
Yeah, Ed, have you done that? You haven't done that yet.
Did that last year.
Oh my God, the Pacific Northwest, it's incredible.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Oh, you haven't been?
No, he did it on purpose.
That's where Baseball Palooza was 2 years ago. My daughter being at Gonzaga, now we've been to Spokane. We went to Spokane. We got back to Pasco to see Eric the Peanut Guy. But
I want to meet Eric so bad.
I want to meet him too.
Me too. I'm just kidding. I've met him.
I was about to say I'm pretty. I feel
You
like
have met him. You hung out with him at a ballpark.
Yeah, he came to Wichita, and then last year I went to 2 games in Pasco.
There you go.
Now we're just bragging. Guess what? I saw baseball on 3 continents this year.
Shut your face.
We were in England, and then, of course, all over North America, and then
look at you. Good
and then
for
Japan.
you.
How about
I'm so
that?
happy for you.
Yeah.
Man, that's
So good.
He tried to tell me when we were hanging out in Vegas that he actually works. I said, when?
Between trips. It's the whole point.
He's in this zone, that he keeps saying that I don't think it exists, so that's why I'm not gonna say it, because it really doesn't exist.
This is the thing, when time has no meaning in the mountain time zone.
So there it is. Guys, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this experience. So final recommendation is that AAA Championship, wherever it is next year, that people should go and experience this is pretty much what we're getting, right?
Yes.
If you can do it with Val.
Yep.
I don't know what it's like to go to the AAA Championship game without Val making it an incredible experience. So
I do know.
In general,
you were by yourself.
Here's what I would say. In general, use baseball as a framework for creating awesome experiences, whether that is the World Baseball Classic, the Caribbean Series, the Arizona Fall League, the AAA Championship game. All these things, like, use baseball as a way to have amazing experiences and fill your life with people who want to do that with you.
Amen.
I like it. Guys, thank you so much for doing this. Make sure you guys are following the influencer Earn Fun Average, because AVG average is what they do best. You like that? That was pretty good. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with myself for how I said
that. That was pretty good.
Thank you. Baseball by Design, Paul Caputo. Hey, that guy, he talked. By the way, I got to give you kudos. The Clingstones, pretty good episode, my friend. I listened to that one. That was interesting.
Thank you very much. I've got an episode dropping at the time of this recording. I've got an episode dropping tomorrow where I talked to a guy who is he leads deep sea fishing expeditions for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos episode.
Ooh.
Wow.
Pensacola mullets?
The mullets, right.
Okay, and then obviously Stadium Food Girl. She is on all socials. Make sure you guys are following her. Data Chronicles. This is what we do, right? Thank you so much, and then we will see you guys next time on another episode of the Data Chronicles podcast.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ed. Thanks, Val.
You're welcome. Bye.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Kelly Robinson, the Minor League Nerd. My YouTube channel explores the history of minor league baseball teams. More than just stats, we delve into team lineage, sharing stories from current franchises to obscure one-year wonders.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean. And I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.